And good morning. Welcome, everyone from far and near, to another fabulous Thursday and the Soulful Illumination Show. I am Nicole. I am your enlightened enchantress, and I am here to bring you further into the divine and to help you excel. We are coming at you live from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. And today, I'm going to have a wonderful guest. Virginia will be on the show today in just a moment. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take care of a little bit of housekeeping. So just find a good cup of tea, a hot cup of joe, or if you're like me and you're in Vegas, get a little ice because it's going to be hot. So welcome, everyone listening from around the world, the known universe, those traveling through space-time, through dimensional portals and other realms, to the Soulful Illumination Show, the show about spiritual ascension through energetic frequencies, a show about connecting to the collective consciousness through heartfelt awakening. Allow the energetic vibrational frequencies to send you into spiritual ascension. We are coming live from an Area 51, a bunker near Area 51 in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. And I am your host, Nicole Borghi, and I am a psychic medium, an intuitive channeling your spirit and guides. And I am so blessed to be here today with you. What do we have a little bit today? Remember, folks, if you go to my email and email me one psychic question, your question will be read live on the Soulful Illumination Show. How fabulous is that? Just go ahead and hit me up, IlluminateVegas@gmail.com. It'll be in the show description on YouTube under Illuminate Vegas. If you want to go ahead and search me there, it's illuminatingvegas@gmail.com. Put in the header, psychic, and ask your one question. What do you want to know? What's on your mind? You know what? I don't have to say your name. You can be totally anonymous. There's got to be something on your mind because we've got so many questions, ladies and gentlemen, right now. And we are going into true empowerment. And there's questions about the ascension. There's questions about being in the divine feminine. Everybody has a question. So let me know what's on your mind. You can go to my webpage, IlluminateVegas.com, and schedule a free discovery call. And what is that discovery call? Helps you find out, what do you need to move up? What do you need to ascend? What do you need to find in your divine purpose? So just go ahead and go to my page, IlluminateVegas.com. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Share with your friends. We are live. So go ahead and share a watch party. Let people know that you are listening. And I want to go ahead and I want to share with you guys something that has really moved me with everything that's going on, and something that has helped me, if you can see that, something that has helped me increase my energy, get some restful sleep, and get my workout on every morning. You know, when I come at you and I do a little live and I'm on that Facebook on the Oneness channel, it's cell core biomolecular. I can say that's a big word. Hey, it's oxygen. How about that? And what that does, that's my sponsor for this show. It's one of my sponsors. So go ahead and go to that webpage, Cellcore Biosciences. Check it out. You want to detox, you want to enrich your life, and you want to be healthy so you can handle what those frequencies are that are going on right now, right? There's a lot of polarity, fear, or happiness. What do you want to be in? And so your body needs to relax. Your body needs to breathe and bring in that oxygen. That's what keeps us alive. And that's how that helps you. For those of you who are having a bit of a hard time, and sometimes I do too, or you want a little bit of uplift, go to the doTERRA and look. My friend, Ylang is incredible. What does it do? It works with those mental blocks that we have, or maybe we have a little bit of anguish or hurt or pain. And I use it with bergamot because it's an orange, it's a citrus. It uplifts you. Ylang ylang helps you kind of break even and balance. It's got a beautiful floral scent. And you want to look at that, go to my webpage. It's another sponsor under the Oneness Talk Radio banner on my host page. It is a sponsor. It'll be below in the YouTube description. Check out my sponsors. They help me bring the show and enlighten you and bring you a little bit of peace, an hour of empowerment. How blessed is that to be able to share this and to share this with you? And so, my friends, don't forget, like, subscribe, share the page. I've got a special guest today, someone that I have worked with one-on-one, somebody that is so beautiful, such a blessing, such a blessed soul. And her name is Virginia, and she is an astrologer. And I'm going to bring her on right now and have her share her journey, her story with you about what she does and how she became who she is and how she's kind of conquered her fears and working through and becoming such an empowered person, becoming an illuminated soul, and share her shift through life and her change. How beautiful is that? And I'm going to bring her in right now. And Virginia.
Hi.
How are you? Let's
I'm
get you
doing
in here.
fantastic. Thanks for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
No, thank you for coming on. And it is so great to be able to share with people that I've worked with and that I have met through this last year or two and changing my journey. And it's nice to come back and see how other people have excelled and ascended. So go ahead and why don't you just tell our lovely audience about who you are, what you represent, and what you do.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, at this stage in my life, I am proud to say I am an astrologer. And that was part of my journey, was re-identifying who I am. I definitely was in the corporate world. Chiron and Aries had this, ego perception of myself. And I can share with you that has been one of the biggest surprises, accomplishments, and pains of the journey, was realizing that I wasn't who I thought I was and admitting to myself that I'm an astrologer, because the world hasn't necessarily been completely ready for us, for the light worker, for that to be a profession or a career. So
Right.
I was definitely attached to, well, that's kind of woo-woo, but I'm a professional and this is what I'm doing. So I can tell you in the beginning that, that was part of the journey of overcoming that obstacle, understanding that I'm a feeling being, not only a thinking being. And so part of my journey was that I love psychology first. I have a
Mm.
bachelor's degree in psychology. I have an MBA in business. So I'm definitely a people person.
Yeah.
And so first and foremost, I loved people. I had no idea I'd even liked astrology 2 years ago, truthfully. I went to a class at a local spiritual store, and the lady there was from Australia,
Mm.
and they had brought her in. She was an astrologer, but she had been a psychotherapist first.
Oh, wow.
So my radar went up. I'm like, oh, psychotherapy. I love that. At that point, I had no idea, other than the 12 zodiac signs, what astrology was. I knew I was a Cancer, and that was about it. But from listening to her, I realized that I could put psychology together with astrology. And that pretty much, that one meeting changed my life, because it literally shifted the direction of my career, even because I was pretty entrenched in the pharmaceutical world, business world. And then I realized, ding, 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 I could put two things that I love, mysticism and psychology, together and actually help other people.
That's
So
powerful. That is powerful.
yeah, it was life changing.
I remember meeting you and you were just sharing with me so much of your energy and your excitement for astrology and the fun that you had with it. Like I could just feel your energy and just the fun and the enjoyment that it brought you and the ability to share this with other people and just really simplify it and to bring it in there. And it's just, it's numbers, it's a numbers game, and there's a lot of math into it. So it's got to be really, how do you stay into that point where it's got to be a point of analytical kind of meeting that woo woo or that intuitive person of who you are and just kind of bringing it together and smashing it together to become into that. How does that kind of articulate out for you?
So for one, I want to clear up one little myth. Thanks to technology, I am terrible at math. And one of the reasons I never got into this was because I thought I'm not good at math. I don't know a right angle from a left angle, but thank God for computer softwares these days. So please do not let that be a deterrent for you if you're interested in astrology, because there's ways around that. That's for one. Two, one of the first things I learned about my own astrology was that my moon was in Virgo. So although I associated myself with a sensitive, homey, nurturing Cancer, my brain is able to analyze information, translate that information, and help it communicate to other people.
Wow.
So that's how I marry it, because I took psychology, my ability to read information and then translate it for other people in a way that they can understand it.
And I love that. And I see so many people out there that have become or come into their passion and their purpose. And I think it's easier. And I see a lot of younger people coming into it. But I mean, I'm 47. I just give my age. Hey, I'm out there. All the information's out there. So you're going to know anyway. I don't have any problem saying that. But coming into this when you're older, or you've established a family or a career or something into that, and then being able to bring all those wonderful tools, all that knowledge and all that information out into the world and share it with people, and then just kind of mold it and format it. And then just work with maybe on that coaching modality and helping people do that and helping them find their groove and understanding that, you guys, I'm a tinfoil hat wearer. I'll wear a tinfoil hat. Virginia knows anything about a laugh. I'll just, I like silly stuff and purposeful stuff because I think we need to laugh and love and be into that. And it doesn't have to be all science all the time. There's facts. The facts are out there. Yeah. I don't have to pull all the facts out there for you because they're out there.
Yeah.
They've been out there. You can find them. Go to the Webernet of Google, plug it in. Those facts are there. And understand it's that feeling of knowing and understanding who you are and what your purpose is, but being able to guide people. I love being able to guide people and bring them to their point where they can use their intuition. They can use their body, their heart, awaken that, come with that. And then holistically, bring you to your purpose of being able to slow down and meditate, work with other people, and know that, hey, you can do this in the real world. And you can do this in your life, and you don't have to be like a closet,
Yeah.
like the closet witch or the old closet hag that they show in cartoons. And and it's like, that doesn't have to be you.
Yeah.
And you present yourself so well and you're so professional, and that's your background. And I enjoy that ability to be able to resonate and bring that forward. That it doesn't have to be the, I'm kind of living in my camper and traveling. And hey, if that's your purpose, that's awesome. But I can't do that. I have a family.
Right.
And I would love to just get in my camper and travel the world and just, go to drum circles or something like that. But there's those of us who choose a different path.
Yeah.
And how does that tie in with you, to bring that forward and make it more professional? How does that resonate?
Well, for me, for one, I feel like maybe the woo-woo people aren't necessarily one that need help. It's the whole population that has no idea about that could benefit from this information. So I feel like this is a blessing and a calling for me to take somewhat of business approach, professional approach, self-development approach, but using astrology as a tool and helping people understand that there's thousands and thousands of years of data on this. So this isn't just pie in the sky, it's actually a study, and that it takes time to learn that study. And if it's delivered in a professional way, we have the ability to really access so many more people that have never even heard of it. And that's what I've been enjoying about this. And what the switch for me was, I'm in service to other people now. My ego has nothing to do with it. And if I can serve the community that has no idea about astrology because the way I present the information is more business-like, then it's win-win. And so I encourage anyone who's in the closet to know that there's an audience out there for them and that they can use their skill, and the more the merrier. I'm never afraid of other astrologers. Like, we all have a tactic, a technique, a style. I mean, the idea here is really just to help the community in whatever style that you have.
Absolutely. I love that, because people can see that getting into just going ahead and commenting, folks. That's why I'm kind of moving around here. I think it's so wonderful to realize that here's the power, here's the purpose, and you can use it your way. I grew up in the 80s, and I grew up with the new aginess and the weirdness, and they had a lot of cults and a lot of places, different places popping up, and places that would pop up overnight to have circles or drum circles or psychic circles, which we had, or we'd have people come over, and it was just nothing really meshed and nothing had that truth. And I think that it's fine right now. There's just such the perfect purpose of us coming into our strengths and allowing our intuition to lead us into our purpose and to incorporate it in your daily life. And really understands right now that you've probably been incorporating it into your life, your intuition, or following the stars, or looking at the moon, and knowing where the planets are and the energies. And more I've been able to add a little bit here and there. And I love how you have that all the time on your Instagram, and how you share what the energies are, and just kind of what the energies are, but how they kind of make you feel.
Yes.
Or how you can use the energy to your benefit, how you can come out of that. And can you kind of elaborate on what you do and how you give to people to bring them up to their empowerment?
Well, first and foremost, your astrology natal chart is really your life path. All of your gifts are in there, your obstacles are in there, and the solution is in there. So learning to get to know yourself and acknowledging that maybe even some of the things you do naturally and you don't even realize why you do them is in the chart. And so the chart brings awareness to your true self. And even like squares, people are afraid of squares. Like, what's a square? It's a tension, but it's meant to bring tension to get a resolution. And so it's learning to embrace some of your obstacles, realizing that it's a gift to get you where you want to go. So for me, the chart is a liberation in relieving yourself from guilt, shame, and making it so personal to, wow, okay, I see that challenge, why the challenge is there, and now I can overcome it. So I like to sit with people in their basic natal chart without getting into future predictions to literally unlock the gifts that are in there for them, including the obstacles. So that's how I use astrology. And even I feel like what a great astrologer does, and what I try to do, is then bring that into real world. Like, give me an example what a square looks like. So understanding, like, if someone has their moon and their sun in opposition 180 degrees, I'm going to have to look at that person and tell them, you're conflicted inside yourself about your identity and your feelings. And you asked for that in your chart, because we all pick our chart before we get here. Our souls pick the exact chart, the exact squares, in order to learn something in this lifetime. So instead of walking around going, I don't understand why I'm always so conflicted, this is so confusing, to enlighten the person and go, okay, you have a tension here. How do I use that to bring myself back in alignment instead of sitting around bewildered? So that's how I like to help people with their chart.
And I think that's so great, because we sit and we've been sitting, and there's no other time than right now with the energy. The veil is lifted. The energy is massive. The energy is right there, and the world, the universe, however you want to look at it, God, source, your creator, whatever you want to go with that, it's time to be in divine. So all those that time that you've questioned who you are, what your purpose is, use that direction, get some direction, reach out to a coach, reach out to myself, reach out to Virginia and say, hey, what's my purpose? What's my direction? How do I use these gifts I have? Or how do I discover my gifts? And how can I use that? Even simply, just how can I use that energy that's right now, the full moon? Like we just had the full moon
Yeah.
last night.
Yeah.
And, you know, and we're still basking in that energy. And it's so beautiful to be open to that. And how can you kind of just throw a rope around the moon and kind of harness that energy? And that's
Yeah.
what happens is you lift up, you harness the energy and you go for it, whatever you want to do, however you want to conquer. Do you want to be the diva? Do you want to be a speaker? Do you want to uh, know your purpose? Do you want to have your business, be an entrepreneur? What does that look like in the energy of now? And how can you do that and utilizing the energy? And I think that's so important for people to really understand how to harness that energy. What does the energy look like? And you make it look human
Yeah.
in a sense. You bring it to the third world. And we've been so afraid to truly find out. And sometimes, like, love to use old world techniques and rituals, but we have to bring it into today so people can use it. And we're in a fast paced world. How does that look for you? And how does that relate with the energies just of the full moon? Is there a certain purpose that it would bring right now?
100%. Well, and also knowing the cycles, like typically a full moon is when we're releasing things. So using the timing of the moon to your advantage as well, because we want to really bring in our attentions at the new moon and then release things that aren't working at the full moon. And depending on the sign of that full moon is the energy that's present at that time. For example, Pisces would be a time of letting go of any addictions, any dreamy behavior that's preventing you from concretizing your ideas and literally releasing any blocks to your creativity, because Pisces is about creativity and it's about spiritual connection. So to me, it's all about releasing anything that's blocking Pisces activities. So that's how I would instruct someone to use those particular energies of the full moon, and knowing when it's waxing, when it's waning, like, and then even in a bigger picture, in your own astrology, what cycle am I in? Am I in a building phase or am I in a releasing phase? Because if you're trying to build in a releasing phase, you're pushing a rock uphill. You know what I'm saying? So like, get to know your own cycles so that you can use them to your advantage instead of against you.
See, and I laugh because when I started coming into this, when somebody told me release, I just let go of whatever. And I felt like I exploded.
Okay.
And I didn't realize, okay, here's where you come into the release and how does that kind of work back out into the new moon? And I had to learn to just let it go, not give up, but just be like, screw it. I'm going to let it go.
Yeah.
I'm going to let that energy be there because I would fight it.
Right.
And I would be like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. So I don't see it. So universe, let me release, show me how to release. And I released it all. And I was going nuts because, that affects your health. It affects your sleep.
Sure.
And sometimes you're just so exhausted. Sometimes just everything will flush out of your body, detoxing, going through like a 24-hour flat fast that night and just trying to let that go and release it. I've learned to do it a little more gently, but I'm like either one or the other. And I'm such the Sagittarius where it's like, okay, give it to me big so I understand it. How does somebody go through this cycle of the full moon and the new moon and just kind of relate that to their body just on a basic of form? How do we get into those grooves and be like, okay, now I can live with purpose instead of fighting it?
Well, I guess it's learning your own moon, and what style that you particularly have for yourself. So first key would be, where is my natal moon and how do I process information? So then you can then release an intent in the style that fits your own emotional moon. So I think first off, finding that out. And then just understanding, like, a new moon means that the sun and the moon is together. So it's like, how do I get my sun, my identity, in conjunction with my moon, my internal life, to create an intention that's congruent for my being? Does that make sense?
Okay. So it's the sun and the moon working together.
So the new moon is the sun and the moon working together, our personality, our internal life. How do we get it to work together to create an intention that matches my particular vibration? And then using whatever sign the new moon is to accomplish that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
And to your
Yeah.
point about releasing, I do want to take that moment to just briefly say that right now Pluto is very heavy on the planet for all of us, which is about surrender. It is about release. It is about letting what's dying and decaying to go away. And the way to make that not as painful is to not hold on tightly, because when you're squeezing onto something that's trying to go away, it just makes the process more painful. So, being aware of that right now globally, that we are literally trying to let old ways, old systems go, and not trying to cling on to them. So full moon releasing, but we also have Pluto, let go of what's not working.
And that and that kind of brings me back to the energy of the kind of the release on your energies, where your energies are and what your intention has been coming up to now. Are you in that anger? Are you in that victim survivor mode? If you are, that's okay. We all have our times, but are you continuously digging that hole and not getting anywhere? If you want to identify to the polarity of that and become the creator, the master, or what have you, you want to be in that creation, that joy of the solar plexus. How do you get there? But we're human. We're in our meat suit.
Sure.
We are here to feel. We are here to be emotional. We are here to be human. We are here to be on the planet, but bring the ascension up. And we need to get from here to here. The point is that you need some help, because if you're doing it alone, find your tribe, right? Like, subscribe, find your tribe. Look at our Facebook pages, you guys. There's information on there. Look at our websites. There's information on you. But you don't want to just look. You can read and research all you want. And I'm a nut about it. I got to research. And I went through a big imposter syndrome when I didn't think I knew enough. And so I had to question myself, what was enough? Did I have to memorize everything on Google? Wasn't going to happen. I had to look into myself and see where I needed to excel and where I wanted to be in my passion and purpose. And in order to get there, you're probably going to need some help right now, because you need somebody to recognize. It's like, I equate it to redesigning your home. You have maybe one of those homes that you just bought, and you want to redesign it, or a home that you've lived in and you want to redesign it. Well, how do you get it to the design you have, and how do you do it where it works for you, whether it's feng shui or just bringing in a designer? Somebody needs to help you design that, whether you just use it as a consultant or whether you do use it for a longer purpose. You need to have that person there with you on your side, holding your hand, and not just being like, yes, it's all unicorns and rainbows, because it's not. I love unicorns and rainbows, make me smile. Love it. Makes me laugh. But we've got to understand that there is some shadow work to be done. There's some inner child work to be done. There's some things we need to recognize so we can clear it and move past it. Don't live in it. Do not live. And that's what you do with a counselor. And that's fine if you're seeing one. What you do is, a lot of times, the reason it doesn't work and you don't rise up is because you're reliving the same pain. You're reliving the same moment. You're reliving the same thing. And you're like on this constant treadmill of emotion.
Yeah.
And when you're angry, and that's a point where I was at for a long time, I lived with my anger, and I needed to move past that because it was blocking me from getting to excel forward. And so understanding your passion and purpose is huge. But sometimes we don't understand that, what we need to discover about ourselves to get to where we need to find your why,
Right.
to accelerate. And you need somebody. That's the reason more and more people, coaches,
Yeah.
astrologers, psychics are coming out into the open, because we want to help you. We want to reach out to you. And that is definitely the purpose of the show, is to help you find an enlightened way of being, help you ascend, level up on your journey. How does it relate to you? How does it relate to your family? Because when you reprogram and when you rewire your mind and you defrag like a computer, you get all the old stuff out, you clear it out, you clear it out. Now it's time for the new program. So you want to put that new program in. And in order to put that new program in, you have to get it out. You have to get out the old stuff that doesn't work, like cleaning out your closet. That way you can make more room for new clothes, more clothes that help you become divine, things that's part of the tool to help you be in your divinity, to identify who you are. If you want to make room, you have to get the old stuff out. Stop hoarding. Stop hoarding your emotions and stop taking on everybody's stuff, because you take it on. If you don't fix yourself, if you don't have self-love, if you don't have self-care, then you have nothing, because you are empty, and you are an empty vessel trying to help other people and trying to rescue everybody when you're the one that needs to be rescued. But we can show you how to rescue that. And how does that work right now with the energies that are so strong? How do you feel like with astrology that they
Yeah.
can take that?
For me, it's about self-awareness. That's why I named my company Awareness Coaching, because at the end of the day, if we're aware of ourselves, we can understand, for example, when our moon or Mars is vibrating at a high quality level of that sign or a low quality level of that sign. For example, when you talked about anger, Aries can be associated with anger, combativeness, frustration, but it can also be pioneering, courageous, innovative. So if we become aware of the high vibe of our sign and the low vibe of our sign, we can then stop in one moment and become aware, okay, I'm angry. How did I shift from pioneering and courageous to angry? And then finding that solution is, when am I my best self in my Aries, and what took me out of that? Because ultimately, if you watch my page, my Instagram, I am all about taking responsibility for yourself, being aware of your own feelings, not being a victim, and not sitting there going, I'm angry because you made me angry. Well, no, something shifted and triggered in you. And if you're not aware of yourself for what that is, we're going to project that out onto someone else. So for me, astrology is a self-coaching, self-development coaching technique, because I'm here to let you become aware of your high vibe qualities, but also your low vibe qualities. And then together, we're going to create a plan. How do I shift from low vibe to high vibe? And right now I'm working on a project for relationships, for couples, to teach them, okay, my partner's moon is high vibe when he has this. And for a Virgo, for example, well, when he's cranky and picky, it's because his moon wasn't satisfied. There was something that came at him that was not organized, practical, and efficient for him to process. So he quickly shifted to cranky because he was out of balance. So come in and learn what brings me internally in balance, so that I can shift very quickly out of low vibe. Because at the end of the day, we're not impervious to getting low vibe. We are in a meat suit. We are human beings. We are going to get triggered. That's impossible not to happen. And if you're, think you're so woo-woo, high transcended that you're excluded from that, then you may get a lesson really hard, because at the end of the day, none of us are like left out of that plan, because we as humans came down here to learn, to be challenged, to elevate ourselves. And the way we do that is through the square, through the friction, the way that the diamond is made. It's about awareness, responsibility, and owning yourself, your issue, and your traits. That's how I use astrology for people, especially for couples right now. That's one of my focuses, is to teach them how to do that.
Awesome. That is, and I've seen you before work with relationship couples, do a reading, and a couple had come out, and I appreciate that that you're not trying to tell this couple, oh, you won't work out, or, oh, everything's going to be
I never do that.
flattering, or here's how to do this. But I think it's just so important for people to understand how to have a relationship, and here's how it can work. Because I think it's important, especially when people come to me for a psychic reading and they go, well, I'm having this hard time. You need to understand how you got there. And there's so much that led up to that point and that time. And here's what you can have, good or bad. This is your choice. And not everything is set in stone. It is just a path. And I believe that astrology is so beautiful with that path. It gives people that path and that purpose. But you share with people how they can work out, how they can vibe together. My old man and I, he is an Aquarius. So what's that, like water, right? And then I'm on fire. I'm a Sag. And I'm Italian.
Yeah.
I'm Swiss and I'm Irish.
Aquarius is actually air, just so you know. So actually, it's like
Is it
fire, air. Yeah, Aquarius is an air sign.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's the water bearer, but it's actually an air sign. So
that's
funny.
Fire,
right? So what happens when fire gets oxygen?
We fuel each other.
Yeah. Yep.
And the flames. But see, we allow that as a couple. We allow, like, I'll have my moment or he has his moment, and that's okay. And we recognize that. Like, hey, I just need to let it out. But we are also there to bring each other back to that point where we're in balance and share what happened. Hey, I'm just having a bad day. Or, hey, I just, I went to the doctors, I had some tests and I feel really yucky. I'm tired. Or, hey, the energy is just totally crazy out right now. I'm just going to hide in my bed.
Yeah.
Or, hey, this is let's go out. Let's celebrate this new moon or something like this. Let's just go celebrate us together and our movement in this relationship. And those are just times where it gives me this sense, what you share gives me the ability to just kind of recognize it. Because I'm by no means an astrologer. I'm like, okay, I can look at the moon and sky and I can I have a basis. That's about it.
Yeah.
I don't get into it too much because I'm like, okay, if I get into it, I'll be so obsessed.
Yeah. And I love astrology and I am obsessed about it. But one of the things I try to do in my practice is not even use astrology terms, because it's not about an astrology lesson. It's about me giving you a tool to learn yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I really try to comfort people. And astrology in action, I have Moon Jupiter. So that says I always see the glass half full. So when couples come to me, I'm all about strategizing how you can win, how you can integrate. And integration is a key word for astrology, because certain things we can't change, but we can integrate certain qualities and become aware of those qualities. If you're a Scorpio, you're a Scorpio, but how do I integrate new things into that and make it work in my Scorpio style? So it's all about collaboration, because I do see, especially when you're single or couples, oh, I never get along with Taurus. That's not my sign. But when you look at an astrology chart, a Taurus is like 1/12 of what that person is. So now you label them in a way, and you may have missed out on a beautiful opportunity with someone because you just put them in a Taurus bucket when they have all of these other things. So it's about learning your astrology and learning how to bring those into your relationship. And for example, Mercury, where your Mercury is in your chart is how you think and how you communicate. I would think that's something you would want to know about your partner. How is it that they receive information and how do they communicate it back? And how can I partner with them? Because what we do is we deliver information in our style. But how about we shift a little bit and we go, okay, this is their style. Let me help us out and be a team member and deliver it in a way that that person can hear it. That's how astrology can practically work in your life, even if you're not an astrologer.
That's huge. It's so huge, because the ability to find out how to communicate with the person you're with. How do you get them to do, it's not how you get them to perform or do what you want to do. I want him to take out the trash. That's not how it goes.
That's right.
That's not how it goes. You need to understand your partner. what they will do for you and how they will do it for you, and kind of understand that performance and that communication, kind of their love language,
Yes,
right?
pretty
You
much.
know, how do they love? I mean, I'm still good. Hey, you give me a cheeseburger. I'm
Happy.
yours. I'm devoted to you for life. However, if somebody came at me with a different kind of gift or a surprise, I'd be like, whoa, whoa. And
Yeah.
it's not because I can't accept the gift, and I've had to learn to do that. That was one of them. But now it's like, that's just not, that doesn't open me magically.
Right.
You know, I love plants, or go camping, right? Or go and watch some live music, some band somewhere. But it's kind of learning how to get to that person where they awaken. And
Yeah.
at what point can you awaken with them? It was
Yeah.
huge for me to learn to, okay, this isn't an us thing right now. Maybe I like this movie, or he doesn't like that movie, or I'm going to go to drum circles, or see people and be in that meditation moment. And but I'm not dragging my old man kicking and screaming,
Right.
because that's not his thing. But
Yeah.
we can sit together, and we can bring in the light. We can do love and blessings or prayers or things like that. But that's where we excel together. But that's finding that purpose, and where you match, and
Yeah.
not dragging. And I see these, some of the times I see these poor guys getting dragged along by these girls, and I get it if you want to be part of it. And I love new love, watching people in a new relationship,
Yeah.
especially when they're young, and
Yeah.
doing things they would never have done,
Yeah.
right? You would
Yeah.
never do it at
Yeah.
45, or you would have done
Sure.
at 16. And you look at, and it's funny, and it's great to try it. And I'm not saying don't do it, because you need to discover who you are. And it's just fun that you're out there doing it. But once you know that that's not something that they enjoy with you, find something else, find a different direction. And that's so huge that you incorporate that with people. Here's how you can identify, um and in knowing people the way that you know people, in that kind of like psychology format, or that understanding how people are. It just helps. It just kind of compounds and empowers, right?
Well, and it's about acceptance, right? Because at the end of the day, which I don't know your chart, to be honest with you, Nicole, but all the keywords you just said tell me there's Taurus somewhere in there: cheeseburger, outside, earthy. So there's clues there that we can look for in our partner too, to see where it shows up.
Right.
Side note. But acceptance is the gift I like to give to people in my readings,
Mhm.
because if your moon is in Virgo, your moon's in Virgo. So you have to accept this person. They were born with that trait. Now, can they learn to be a high functioning Virgo? Yes. Can they get out of cranky? Yes. But they're not going to turn into a detached Aquarius. So if that's
Right.
what you're looking for, you're trying to turn a pig into a donkey, and good luck with that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a gift of just accepting your partner, like you said. And if this guy isn't a drum circle guy, why are you going to force him to go and be unhappy? Like, it's just not going to be his thing. So
But yeah, we excel at the gym. If we go out the gym, he's a weight trainer. We do wonderful at the gym.
yeah,
We do great going out to lunch and having fun and people watching. That's where we ignite. But we give each other the freedom to be ourselves at our own time, so
yeah,
that when we come back together, that our time is a better time and we're
exactly.
united. And
Yeah,
it's just so funny, because I'll watch women, and they've got to change their man.
right.
But what attracted you to that person in the first place had to be
Yeah,
something wonderful, a gift, a gorgeous, wonderful gift that they had, that attracted you to them in the beginning. And
yeah,
even watching people that have been in relationships for years, and you start to look at, well, I don't love this person anymore, or I don't like this person anymore, or we don't get along anymore. We don't do the things. But what is it that you've stopped doing?
yes,
That's another thing to kind of look at, into that purpose of the shadow self, and be like, why
yes,
don't I like this person? What is triggering that? And understanding the point of, you know, they're not doing what they're not doing anymore. What they did, maybe they washed the dishes, or took out the trash, or took you out to dinner. Why are they not doing that? Because at some point you stopped liking that, or you no longer acknowledged it, maybe. that you're not like, oh, well, we don't have to do that. Or, oh, I don't like it. Or I don't like being at this restaurant. Maybe you're out. And I looked at it myself, and I'm not saying anybody, I'm not calling out anybody. I'm just saying my experiences is from me is that they stopped doing it because I didn't acknowledge certain things. And I didn't say thank you. I didn't have the gratitude, whether it was a gratitude for myself for showing up for them, or the gratitude for them trying to bring me to that point where we could be together. And that is so huge in relationships. It's yin and yang. You know, what brought you to that person? If you want to turn back, maybe it's not that you're out of love with them. Maybe it's that you're out of love with yourself.
Yes, I agree.
And that's huge.
That's
huge.
Yeah. And in my experience, to your point about all of that, one of the questions I've started asking myself when I'm thinking that about my partner, I say to myself, where do I act like that? Because we are mirrors. So something in him is something probably in me that I need to heal, or I wouldn't even be being triggered by that person. And like I said earlier, I'm a big proponent of taking responsibility. Heal thyself, heal the world. So instead of looking at the other going, why aren't you? It's like, okay, where can I heal myself to heal this situation? And now you're in a power position because you're not a victim of what that other person is doing to you.
Huge. That's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. And to your point about gratitude, I would venture to say, like a partner who has a Leo, a moon, they need gratitude. They need appreciation, or they're going to give up. So knowing where your partner's moon is and knowing that they're the type that needs gratitude and appreciation to continue to do what they do is a pretty good tool to have and to know. So then you could go, oh, where am I not saying thank you or not making them feel appreciated for that person who needs that a lot?
That's huge. And also listening to their conversation when they come home from work if they hadn't been appreciated at work.
Yes.
It is up to you to share with them some type of appreciation at home, because as we nurture our partner, we nurture ourselves.
Yes.
And in soulful coaching, when I bring some homework to people.
Yeah.
Where do you need to change this? How can you turn it around and bring it back to take that and work with that energy and kind of monopolize, in a sense, take that energy and hone in on it and work and go forward. How can you rise up with that and to love yourself? Because if you don't write down your gratitude, if you don't change yourself at a cellular level and start to reprogram, the people around you won't change and you'll have the same people. I've noticed that changing myself, changing my cellular structure, because when your cells divide and multiply, they divide and multiply either in the happiness or the anger and the program that you're at. And so just think, if you're in anger or you're in feeling unloved or unwanted or hurting other people, those are going to divide and you're going to do and multiply more of that at the cellular level. So in order to level up in a positive manner, you want to bring that back, and you want to bring that, whether you're writing it down or doing a little bit of homework or working on yourself. It's really important to impact it so that you change the people around you, because when you change, they change. Huge. It's like adding, it's like when you have to upgrade your program on your computer. You have to upgrade it because you have to get the new kind of video. Yeah. You can't run video content anymore if you've got a program that's 10 years old. It's just not going to run correctly. So you don't want to run on that old program. Yeah, it kind of works. Yeah, you can kind of get by. But if you continue to use it, it will no longer be pertinent to the now. Yeah. And in order to be pertinent to the now, you really need to show up for yourself and for other people. It's okay to feel that energy that's right now, but let's move past it. Is there anything right now that you would like to look into? Because we're wrapping up. We're already at 10 minutes. Okay. And so, wow, it's gone by so fast. Is there anything that you would like to say about what's going on right now? What's going on with life and with people that you want to just really add?
As far as globally, the world?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think September, I just want everyone to hold their patience, because Mars is in Aries and it's going to go retrograde on the 9th. So, the first half of the month may not be too rocky. We may be just wanting to communicate. But then the second half of the month, it's going to be a little bit more aggressive. So I want everyone to be prepared for that. The good, the bad, the good news, good or bad news, however you want to look at it, is that Mars is coming back into place, similar to where it was triggered back in March. But in March, it was a conjunction, so that was explosive. But now it's going to be a square, which is more solution oriented. But in order to have solutions, we have to have honest conversations. So there's just going to be an air of needing to communicate. People may be rising up. The individual is going to be rising up against the system, Capricorn, the establishment, in order to create some sort of fair solution. But in that, there is going to be a lot of excited energy. So I want everyone to stay calm in that sense and watch your own triggers, because we don't want to like blurt stuff out that could become harmful. We want this to be solution oriented. So I would say, be mindful of that. We do have a new moon in Virgo on the 17th. So that will add some flexibility to this situation. So be open, be flexible. And also just understand we are in this Pluto time. We've got Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn, which says our beliefs need to change. Our structure needs to change. We need to let go of what's not working and bring in the new, which I believe will happen, but we have until the end of the year before that really starts to, the solution phase comes. We're still kind of in the Pluto demolition phase. So just be mindful of that. Don't grip on too tightly. Let things go so that new solutions can arise. I guess that's what I would want to share with the collective.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So that means that we have something lifting up, so that we've learned our lesson.
Yes.
And we're ready to really become from that and take on our mission and our purpose if we've really learned that lesson. And how can we help others, and how can we give that to others?
And shift our beliefs from the
Yeah.
I to the collective. It isn't all about the I and the me. It's like, as a group, how can we heal instead of being so worried about how can I get mine? How can I get mine? Aries into Libra. How can we be cooperative, collaborate, and create a harmonious relationship that benefits us both?
That's huge. And that's so huge, because we have this energy. That energy is so strong. Let's use it for the purpose we're meant to use it for, is us all. And everything we do is a purpose and caring for us. And that way we can care for others, and we can help others. We can hold our hand out and we can bring them up, right? We can help them rise up as we rise up. And we can share with them our love and our energy and our purpose. And people are more apt to see you and hear you if you can speak your truth, but in a loving way that they will understand it. And that is so beautiful. Thank you, Virginia. I just wanted to do my quick reading here, you guys. What I got is today I got the Rhytho, Iwaz, and Thorizaz from the rune stones. And I'm going to go ahead, because we've got a few minutes, and I will post those. What that is really listening to the messages, what journey you're on, just like Virginia spoke on. Put that journey together with others, listen to your higher counsel, and work with one another. And I will put more information on the details in that. So remember to go to IlluminateVegas@gmail.com and put your question in for psychics, so I can read that on the air. Is there anything else you wanted to hit upon, Virginia, before we go?
I mean, it's kind of a back point, but when you were talking about your partner in communication, I also want to remind people to be the right container in the communication. For example, because this just happened to me the other day, the partner wanted the girl to be more open, but the girl was someone who needs time to think. So he felt she wasn't open, but she really just needed time. So understand in that communication process that you have to be the right container to get what it is you're trying to get from that person. So always be thinking also about the other, not only oneself, which goes collectively to what we were just talking about.
Absolutely. So beautiful. Thank you, Virginia, for your time. And guys, if you go onto my YouTube channel, I'll have all the details here for you on how to reach Virginia. And so beautiful that she shares that with us. Have a great day. Enjoy the journey. Bye, guys.
So grateful. Thank you, everyone.